Let's check in with London to see what they're working on. Good morning, BBC.
Good morning, WNYC. I'm Tim Franks. On today's News Hour, and still the death toll soars, Libya's natural and human disaster. That's BBC News Hour, coming up at 9 on WNYC.
It's 58 degrees now. It's going to be mostly sunny today in New York City with a high of 72 this afternoon. Tomorrow, once again, mostly sunny with a high of 76.
Support for WNYC comes from Optimum Business, offering products like secure internet with speeds up to 8 gigs and built-in cybersecurity to help businesses stay connected. More at 855-2-OPTIMUM or optimum.com/business.
On the next Brian Lehrer Show, WNYC radio rookie Fanta Cabo, a 17-year-old from Mott Haven. She'll share clips from her radio rookie story about what public housing has meant to her and how it's changing, and we'll talk about it live. Also, what we learned from this year's Fashion Week about the state of the industry in New York and what people are wearing. The Brian Lehrer Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on WNYC.
Union car and truck workers walk off the job at 3 plants as contract negotiations continue.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Amazon Business, helping provide a smarter, easier way to get the supplies businesses need to thrive. Amazon Business, your partner for smart business buying. And by Affinity, helping investors navigate the relationship economy with the CRM built for private capital markets. Affinity.co/marketplace.
I'm David Brancaccio. Members of the United Auto Workers Union started a limited strike last night against GM, Ford, and Stellantis. It's the first time unionized auto workers have walked off the job at all 3 companies at once, reflecting the high stakes. Automakers say they're in a fight for survival as the industry electrifies. Workers want to reverse wage and benefit concessions at a time the labor market is strong. Marketplace's Nova Safo reports.
Less than 10% of UAW members walked off the job last night, but Union President Shawn Fain said the strike could spread.
This is our generation's defining moment. The money is there, the cause is righteous, the world is watching, and the UAW is ready to stand up.
The union wants pay increases of 36% over 4 years, and it wants to reverse concessions over pensions and pay made during the Great Recession. In the first half of this year, the Detroit Three made a combined $21 billion in profits. But automakers say the workers' demands are unaffordable because they must invest in electrification. Here's GM CEO Mary Barra in a company video.
If we don't continue to invest, we will lose ground, and it will happen fast. Our competition across the country and around the world, most of whom are non-union, will waste no time seizing the opportunity we've handed them.
The previous UAW strike in 2019 against GM lasted 40 days. This time around, the strategy of targeting a limited number of plants could help stretch out the union's strike fund for a longer battle. I'm Nova Safo for Marketplace.
That strike fund would last 11 weeks, 77 days if all members went on strike. But again, they're striking at just 3 facilities for now: Wayne, Michigan, Wentzville, Missouri, and Toledo, Ohio. The union wants the car companies to return to pensions for retirees that offer set amounts per month rather than the invest it yourself 401k plans available to those hired since 2007. The California State University System, the country's largest public university system, will be raising its tuition by 6% a year for 5 straight years starting in the fall of next year. CSU's not alone. West Virginia University and Rutgers in New Jersey are among those raising tuition significantly. Marketplace's Stephanie Hughes reports.
Cal State points out it's only raised tuition once in the past 12 years, and even public universities have to deal with inflation. Robert Kelchin researches higher ed finance as a professor at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville.
Faculty and staff are expecting pay raises. Utilities have gone up. Health insurance benefits have gone up. All the operating costs have gone up.
Kelchin says in many states, the legislatures aren't interested in giving any more funding to university systems. And so
the importance of tuition has gotten bigger and bigger. And in about half the states, public colleges are getting more money from tuition than from the state.
Public schools also have many fixed costs, but fewer potential customers. Kevin Carey is with New America.
The phrase that people in higher education use is the enrollment cliff.
Cal State University says for a majority of its students, the tuition increase will be covered by grants and scholarships. Still, Carey says, ultimately tuition increases affect students at the margin most of all. I'm Stephanie Hughes for Marketplace.
Markets, Dow futures are up 0.1%. S&P futures are little changed. NASDAQ futures are down 0.2%.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by C3 AI. C3 Generative AI provides ChatGPT enterprise search that is verifiable, secure, and accurate across all enterprise data. Learn more at c3.ai. This is Enterprise AI. And by UKG, an HR payroll and workforce management solution designed to help make a fairy tale workplace a reality. UKG, our purpose is people.
Some startups using venture capital money to disrupt the health insurance business have run into serious trouble, which is also trouble for their customers. Colorado Public Radio's Andrew Kenny reports.
Lauren Gibbs always wanted to work for herself. She's a real estate agent in Lakewood, Colorado.
Being my own boss was just going to make more sense.
To do that, she had to buy her own health insurance. And in 2020, she was excited to sign on with a new startup company called Bright Healthcare.
I was like, this seems like a pretty good deal. And, I think that the health insurance industry needs some disruptors and some innovation.
But it didn't last. Last December, Bright Healthcare's startup model was failing, and it was pulling out of the individual health insurance market across the country. That affected nearly 1 million people with Bright Insurance, including Gibbs, who had to scramble for a new plan. Her next provider was another startup called Friday Health Plans. Turns out it was also in deep financial trouble. State regulators shut down that company in August. Some customers had to start all over on their deductibles. Gibbs estimates she'll be out close to $3,000.
The reason we have insurance is so we don't have an unexpected expense, like $3,000.
Together, Friday Health and Bright Healthcare had collected more than $3 billion in investor funding. So what happened?
They didn't understand health insurance. Health insurance is really complicated.
Health insurance consultant Ari Gottlieb says the math didn't pencil out for these startups. Sure, their premiums were low, but that meant these companies weren't taking in enough revenue to cover the healthcare expenses they were on the hook for.
But because they started to lose money in a number of different markets, they started to set off some alarm bells for us.
That's Colorado Insurance Commissioner Michael Conway. He says company leaders weren't giving state regulators the full financial picture.
In the case of Friday, they made very, very bad decisions at the management level, at the C-suite level, for years that ultimately ended up leading to their failure.
He says state regulators did everything they could. Both Friday and Bright Healthcare are now largely out of the insurance business nationwide. Neither company responded to requests for comment. But that's not much comfort to customers like Lauren Gibbs.
Having these two collapses in a row in Colorado, the state regulators, the governor, they need to pay attention to this and understand that these are real people's lives and health on the line.
Gibbs is begrudgingly going back to a much larger health insurer. She hopes this one will stay in business. In Colorado, I'm Andrew Kenny for Marketplace.
And we are from APM, American Public Media.